a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. You can sit just cross-legged on your mat if you'd like. You could sit on your shins in Vrasana if that's more comfortable, or on your heels in Vajrasana. No Shannon tonight, but that's okay. She has to work very hard. So while you're sitting here, just maybe lower your gaze or close your eyes. You can place your hands on your knees. You can place them palms up or palms down, whichever you prefer. And just see if you can start by quieting your mind. Maybe you watch the thoughts just kind of escape. Maybe you visualize your train of thought as an actual train and you just let it pass by you. Maybe you let any thoughts of the day just melt away out of your mind. Maybe you just concentrate on your breath instead. See if you can scan your body. If you're holding any tension anywhere, go ahead and release it. You can start at your toes, work your way up your legs, up your midsection and back, down the arms, over the chest, neck, and head. When you get to the very crown of your head, see if you can imagine a string coming out of the top of your head, pulling your spine nice and long. Your whole back elongates, gets longer. If your knees shot up in the air, just press them back down with your hands or just with the legs themselves. See if you can feel this long length in your spine at the same time that you ground down with your legs. Maybe you imagine little roots growing from the bottoms of your legs, bottoms of your sit bones, reaching into the ground, holding you nice and steady, nice and sturdy. And while you're working on that action of the legs pulling down and the spine elongating into the sky, make sure you do one more quick scan, releasing any tension that may have accumulated while you're trying to get your posture correct. And start with a big, deep inhale through your nostrils, nice and full and deep. And when you feel like you can't breathe in anymore, take a little bit more sip and then let it out through the mouth. One more like that, in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Continue breathing through your nostrils, but for your exhales, imagine, even though you're keeping your mouth closed, you can still feel that action in the back of your throat, like you're trying to fog up a mirror. Maybe it's a little powerful, maybe it makes a little noise. It's Ujjayi, ocean breathing. Go ahead and lift your right arm. Take your two peace fingers and place them on your forehead between your eyebrows. Your thumb is on your right nostril. Your 2 remaining fingers have access to the left nostril. Plug up the left nostril and inhale through the right. Plug up that right nostril, release the left nostril, exhale through the left nostril. Inhaling here. Covering up that left nostril, releasing the right, exhaling through the right nostril. Inhaling here. Cover up that right nostril, release the left nostril, exhale out of the left nostril. Nice deep, big inhale here. Covering up that left nostril, releasing the right, exhaling out the right. Another big inhale here. Block off that nostril again, release the left, exhale out the left nostril. Inhale here. Block off the left nostril, release the right nostril, and then exhale here. Inhaling on the right. Placing the thumb over the nostril, releasing the left, exhaling out the left nostril. Inhaling here. Close that off. Exhale out the right nostril. We'll do one more full round, breathing in here through the right nostril. Closing it off, exhaling out the left. Inhaling from the left nostril. Closing it off, releasing the right, exhaling through the right. You can release your hand and breathe normally. See if you notice any difference in the way it feels breathing through your nose. Maybe it's a little easier, maybe it's a little harder. Maybe your nostrils feel a little more clear or a little more stopped up. Before we start to move around, just want to say one thing. This weekend is Halloween and it is a full moon. It's a special full moon. It's the second one of the month. That makes it a blue moon. It's also a full moon on Halloween, which makes it special. And we turn the clocks back, so we get a full another hour of Halloween, or a full another hour of full moon, which isn't really how it works. We're going to pretend that's how it works. So you get a full another hour of full moon. So if you have the opportunity, see the full moon this weekend. I highly recommend it. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Stay seated, still feeling that rooting down in the ground with your legs. And we'll just inhale the arms up into the air. Exhale, melt your shoulders down your back, keeping your arms extended. Inhale, reach the fingertips into the air. See if you popped out your ribs like I did. You can tuck them back under. Breathing here, elongating those arms, making a passive pose active. And on your next exhale, we'll just go down to the right, placing the right hand on the mat, reaching the left arm over top. Check in with those sit bones. Make sure you still have equal weight in both sides. Maybe this side popped up a bit. Your left side, you want to push that back down. You can shine your chest towards the ceiling if you like. Continue to reach with that left arm over top. Breathing here. And your next inhale, come back to center. We'll exhale to the other side, placing that left hand on the mat, reaching the right arm over top. You can shine that chest towards the ceiling for a little bit extra reach. Checking in with those sit bones, making sure both sides are pressing into the mat, both sides pressing into the ground. Breathing here. On your next inhale, come back to center and gently exhale, fold forward. No need to reach, no need to stretch too far. You can do a nice gentle forward fold. See if you can pull that belly button towards the spine. See if you can feel that same elongation from the crown of your head. Maybe on your next exhale, you fold a little bit deeper. Reach that tailbone down to the mat. Maybe exhale a little bit deeper. And when you reach your edge, you can round in the back, rounding all the way forward. And just breathe, finding length in that back body. And on your next inhale, you can walk those fingers back. Place your hands on your waist. See if you can rotate those elbows back behind you and just gaze into the air, shining that chest forward for a tiny little back bend, a little baby camel pose. Release your neck, release your hands, give your arms a little shake. Inhale the arms back into the air. We'll take the right elbow, bend it down, place the left hand on top of the right elbow, press it nice and gently down the back. Checking in with those ribs, popping them back into place if you need. If you're happy here, stay. If not, you can release that top arm down, reach for the right hand back behind your back. You can grab your t-shirt, you can grab your hand, whatever reaches. And just breathe here, stretching into those upper arm muscles, shining that chest forward. Release the bind, release your hands wherever they are. Fold them back down, give them a little shake out. Inhale the arms back up. This time, opposite elbow reaches down, hand slides down the back. Right hand goes on top of left elbow, pressing that elbow back gently down the back. Breathing here. If you're happy, stay. If not, release that top hand round to the back. Reach for your other hand or your t-shirt, whatever you can reach. Bodies are different. I can reach on this side, but not the other. Make sure your ribs aren't sticking out, that the stretch is coming from the arms, not the mid-body. Breathing here. Release the bind, release your arms, however you have them. Give a nice little shake out. Inhale the arms up. This time we'll twist to the right, placing the left hand on the right knee, right hand behind. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, twist to the back. Inhaling for a long spine here. Exhaling, twisting a little bit further. Inhaling your spine nice and long. Exhaling, twisting all the way to the back. On your next inhale, you can do a little counter twist to the other side and exhale back to the center. Inhaling the arms back in the air, we'll exhale, twist to the other side, placing that arm on the left knee. Left hand behind you. Inhaling your spine nice and long. Exhaling, twisting to the back. Inhaling long. Exhale, twist. Inhale long. Exhale, twist. On your next inhale, you can do a nice little counter twist to the other side. And exhale, back center. Inhale your arms out to a big T. You can bring your hands back behind you if you want to. We're gonna exhale, give yourself a big hug. Doesn't matter what arms on top, we'll do both. See if you can walk those fingertips around your shoulder blades. Maybe grab at your shoulders on the outside or the inside. Breathing here. Resisting the urge to become a dinosaur. Breathing. On your next exhale, release your arms nice and wide. You can bring your arms out back behind you on an inhale if you'd like. Fully breathe in, opening the chest. And then exhale, hug yourself, flipping those arms opposite elbow on top, walking those fingertips back around your shoulders, holding onto the outside or the inside of the shoulders. Breathing here. On your next exhale, release your hands, bring your arms wide, give them a little shake, and we'll meet in tabletop on your mat. Placing wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath feet. Knees underneath feet, I said that. Knees underneath hips. Bring the tops of your feet down onto the mat. Press those tops of the feet into the mat. Press your shins into the mat. Press the palms of your hands and your fingertips deep into the mat. Make this passive pose active. Pressing into the ground, pull your body out of your shoulder girdle. Give yourself a little bit more length in your spine. Imagine that string coming from the crown of your head again, pulling your spine long. From here, we'll inhale to cow, dropping the udder down, shining the chest forward, rounding in the back. Exhale for cat, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine, release the neck, option to tuck the toes under here. Inhale for cow, tops of the feet down, shining the chest forward. Exhale, rounding in the back, releasing the neck down, tucking the toes under for cat. Inhale, cow, shining the chest forward. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Continue this movement at your own breath and your own pace. You can warm up the spine just through cat and cows. You can make S and C curves in your back if you'd like. You can do wrist stretches and bring the fingers out to the sides of the mat while you go through the motions. You can come down to a little child's pose. Maybe come up to like a half chaturanga. Anything you need to do to warm up the spine. Wake up those ankles. When you've had enough of that, you can come back to a neutral spine, placing the tops of the feet down onto the mat. Gently lift your knees in the air. You can lift your knees higher or lower. The higher you lift, the more of a toe stretch you'll get. The lower, the more of an ankle stretch. Lower your toes back down, or your knees back down. Tuck your toes under. And give yourself a nice little counter stretch here. You can walk yourself back so that your bum comes to your heels. You can come up into a hero's pose if you'd like, stretching your toes there. And if that's a little too painful, you can always walk forward on your hands or just come into a tabletop with your toes tucked under. See if you can go as deeply as you can for as long as you can. Then see if you can do 2 more breaths. And then come back into a tabletop pose, tops of the feet back down onto the mat, pressing into the palms, pressing into the knees and the shins. And we're going to start with a twist. Bring the left arm into the air. Nice and high. See if you adjusted your knees. See if they're both pressing into the mat. Opening up to the left side here. Exhale, thread that arm underneath. Place the outer edge of the shoulder onto the mat. You can walk that hand forward if you want. Breathing here. Your next inhale, walk that right arm back. Press it into the mat. Lift the left arm in the air again. Watch out for your knees. Mine just popped in the air. Exhale your hand back down. Inhale the opposite arm into the air for a nice gentle twist. Checking in with those knees, making sure the twist is coming from the top of the body, not the bottom. Exhaling, thread the needle through, placing the outside of the shoulder onto the mat. You can walk this left hand forward if you'd like. Breathing here, stretching into the outer edge of the shoulder. Your next inhale, you can walk that left hand back, press into the mat, placing that right arm in the air again for a nice gentle twist. Exhale the hand back down to the mat. Come into a neutral spine again. Pressing your hands into the mat, pressing your knees and your shins into the mat. Just going to do one little balancing pose, lifting the back right leg into the air. Knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Thigh is parallel to the mat. Breathing here. And if you feel sturdy and secure, you can take the left arm, opposite arm as leg, and reach it forward into the air. Breathing here. Pulling that belly button towards the spine for balance. We'll exhale, fold up the body, bring that elbow towards the knee just one time. Breathe here. And exhale, place your knee and hand back onto the mat. Breathing here. And your next inhale, bring that left leg into the air. Knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Thigh is parallel to the mat. Pressing in with your palms. Make sure you have a nice sturdy base. You can lift that opposite arm into the air. Pulling your arm forward, keeping that leg balanced in the back. Pull your belly button towards the spine. And we'll exhale, rounding in the back. Bring the elbow towards the knee at the midpoint of the body. And then exhale, bring your hand and knee back to the mat. Give your ankles a little shake out. We'll tuck the toes under and come into downward facing dog. You can adjust your stance any way you'd like. You can pedal out your feet in down dog. You can make that pedal motion, slowly move up the legs, into the knees, into the thighs, into the hips. And then when you're ready to come to stillness, inhale up onto your tippy tip toes. And then exhale, pull those heels down towards the mat, pressing those thighs towards the sky. Breathing here. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to a plank pose. Breathe one full breath in plank. And then on your next exhale, push yourself back into downward facing dog. Lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog, nice long leg. Exhale, bend your knee, pull that heel towards the bum. Inhale, open your hips, and give your knee a little twist out, a little shake. You can rotate out through the ankle, the shin, the knee. Just open up all those joints in the leg. On your next exhale, bring your hips back to center, lower that right leg down, and we'll inhale the left leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that heel towards the bum. Inhale, open up the hips. And then exhale, just twist out through the ankle, through the knee, through the hip. Lubricate and open up all those joints in the leg. Then you can exhale that left leg back down to the mat. And we'll come back into a tabletop. Untuck those toes and bring your bum to your heels. Sitting in Vajrasana, we'll do slightly modified moon salutations and then go into sun salutations. All right, so breathing here in Vrasana, or any modification that's comfortable for you. We're going to inhale the arms up, gaze at the thumbs for a slight little back bend. Exhale, hands to the mat for a child's pose. Inhale, slide forward for high cobra. Exhale, press into tabletop. Tuck those toes under. And inhale up into downward facing dog. Lift the right leg into the air. Exhale it in between the hands. Help it if you need. We'll drop that back knee to the ground. Untuck the toes. Inhale the arms up. Again, gaze at the thumbs for Anjaneyasana. Exhaling the hands towards the mat. Tuck those back toes under. Lift the back leg up. And then kick it forward about a foot. You want both feet to be on the mat as much as possible, heels down. You can grab blocks if your hands can't quite reach. We're just going to do a nice little modified runner's stretch. See if you can feel that back calf stretch, back of the front thigh. And check in with your hips. Make sure they're still square. Maybe this front hip needs to go back in space a little bit. Maybe that opens up to stretch the back thigh a little more. And on your next exhale, kick that back leg up to meet the front. And we'll stand in a forward fold for a moment. Your knees can be bent as little or as much as you want here. Relax the back of your neck. Imagine the top of your head pulling towards the ground. Just breathe here. Maybe on your exhale, you bend a little bit deeper. Place your hands on your shins. Inhale, nice long flat back. Imagine that string from the crown of your head pulling your spine nice and long. Exhale, folding forward again. Coming up to a stand, making sure every vertebrae stacks on top of the previous one. Standing in mountain pose, lift those arms into the air, gaze at the thumbs again for the slight back bend. Breathe here. And we'll exhale, fold all the way forward again. Again, your knees can be bent as little or as much as you want here. Option to grab opposite elbows. Maybe interlace your hands behind your back. Release your hands wherever they are. Let them melt down to the mat. Place your hands on the mat and we'll kick the opposite leg behind about halfway for a runner stretch, not as deeply as we'd go for a low lunge. But just feel that modified runner stretch on the other side. Both heels are reaching towards the mat. Maybe they both actually reach. Maybe pull that left hip back in space a little bit. Feel the calf in that back leg and the back of the thigh and the front leg stretching. Then when you're ready, kick that back leg back about the extra 12 inches you need to come into a low lunge. Drop the back knee down, adjust your stance any way you need to. We'll inhale the arms up, gaze at the thumbs for the slight back bend. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat again. Excuse me. Tuck the back toes under. We'll kick this front leg back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Breathe here in down dog for a moment. And on your next exhale, we'll drop the knees down, come into a tabletop pose, untuck those toes. Then we'll come into a high cobra, however you'd like to. You may need to walk your fingers a little bit high, a little bit further forward. Then pressing into a child's pose, let those hands slide back to where they were. And finally, walking our fingers back to Vajrasana. We'll inhale the arms up again. Gaze at the thumbs for the slight back bend. You can exhale your hands down through heart center and release. Shake it out. All right. Okay, we're good. All right. Take a drink if you want it. And we'll start. All right. Let's come into a tabletop again. Tuck those back toes under and press into a downward facing dog. Inhale the heels into the air. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. From here, you can step, or hop to the front of your mat. So you're in a forward fold. From here, bend those knees nice and deep. Start lowering your bum down in space. You can rest your chest or your stomach on your thighs. See if you can bring that bum down as much as possible. From here, extend your arms out by your ears. And we'll inhale, lift the chest in the air. I'm sure your knees came unbent and your bum flew up in the air, so maybe you can lower them back down a little bit. And we'll breathe here in chair pose. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, release your hands through heart center. And give yourself a little shake out. All right. Starting in mountain pose at the front of your mat, both feet are pressing into the ground. Hips are over ankles, over knees, shoulders over hips. Inhale your arms in the air. Exhale, melt those shoulders down your back. Inhale, reach with your fingertips into the sky. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Hands on shins, inhale, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, kick your right leg back behind you. Get into this low lunge, nice and secure here. Be so confident in your stance here, you could lift your hands off the mat and not fall over. From here, we'll inhale the arms up for a high lunge. Don't fall over like I just did. Exhale your hands through heart center. And when you feel very strong in your legs and very secure in your stance, you can bring this right elbow over your left knee and come into a high lunge twist. Pressing your elbow into your knee, pressing your hand into your hand. You can lift yourself out of your shoulders. Bending that knee at a 90-degree angle or as close as you can. On your next inhale, bring your chest back to center. You can rotate that back heel down. Lift your arms in the air for warrior one. Hips are still rotated towards the front of the room. Equal weight in both legs. Front knee is bent. Exhale your hands back behind you and interlace your fingers back behind your back. Adjust your stance any way you need to feel secure. Inhale your chest into the air. And exhale, bring your shoulder down to your knee for humble warrior. Breathing here. On your next inhale, lift your chest back in the air, release your hands into the sky. Exhale, bring your hands back to the mat. And kick that front leg back to meet the back. And breathe in downward facing dog for 3 breaths. On your next inhale, roll forward to plank. Drop your knees, chest and chin to the floor. Inhale for low cobra. And exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg into the air. 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot forward. Place it in between the hands. Get a nice, secure, low lunge stance here. When you feel secure, inhale that upper body into the air. Run into a wall like I did. Exhale the hands through heart center. And then we'll bring this left elbow outside of the right knee, coming into a high lunge twist. Pressing elbow against knee, hand against hand. Twist from their midsection. Breathing here. On your next inhale, you can come back to center. You can rotate that back heel down. So your back foot's at a 45-degree angle, front knee is bent, hips are still pointed towards the front of the room. Inhale those arms up in the air for warrior one. Exhale your hands back behind your back. Interlace your fingers, weird thumb on top this time. Adjust your stance any way you need to feel secure. Inhale the chest nice and bright into the air. Exhale, bring that shoulder down towards your knee. On your next inhale, bring that chest towards the ceiling again. And release your hands. Inhale up for warrior one. Exhale those hands down to frame the front foot. Kick that foot back behind you so you're in a downward facing dog. Breathing 3 deep breaths in down dog. On your next inhale, you can roll forward to plank. Drop your knees, chest and chin. Inhaling for a low cobra. And then exhaling, pressing back into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, you can lift your left leg in the air. Bring it between your feet, your hands, and bring that right leg back to meet it. So you're in a forward fold at the front of your mat. On your next inhale, place your hands on your shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, stack each vertebrae on top of each other until you're in a standing pose at the front of your mat. Pressing your feet into the ground, pulling up from the crown of your head for a nice long spine. Breathing here. And let it go. All right. What time is it? Okay. Standing in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Pressing both feet into the ground. Hips are over top of ankles. Shoulders are over top of hips. We'll inhale our arms up here. This time, exhale towards the right, pretending you're holding a giant beach ball in the sky. Make sure you're not folding in on yourself. You want to still shine that chest towards the ceiling. Equal weight in both of your feet. On your next inhale, bring those arms back to center. Exhale, reach to the other side, pretending you're holding a giant beach ball again, like shining that chest towards the ceiling, equal weight in both feet. Breathing here. Inhaling back up to center. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Release the top of your head down. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Time, plant your hands. You can send that right leg back behind you so you're in a low lunge. Adjust your stance any way you need to. Our low lunge is nice and secure. You can lift our arms up, no big deal. Take that back heel, rotate it down so it's at a 45-degree angle. And we'll windmill the arms up so we're in a warrior two. You can check in with your legs. Make sure you're very comfortable, equal weight in both feet. Outer edge of that back foot is glued to the mat. Arms are reaching out in either direction. Gaze is over the front palm. Breathing here, you can pull your belly button towards your spine for balance. When you're ready, we'll flip that front palm up. Reach forward and scoop back for humble warrior. Reverse warrior. We already did humble warrior. Make sure you're not dumping your weight in this back arm. You can lift it off your leg if you need to. Feeling the length in your side body. Your next exhale will come back into warrior two. Straighten up that front knee. Reach forward till you reach your edge and then fall down for triangle pose. Both legs are straight here. Bending in your knee only if you need to. Hand can be on your shin, on the mat, or a block. Opening your arms towards the side of the mat. On your next inhale, come back to warrior two arms. Bend that front knee again. This time we'll take the forearm towards the shin for side angle pose. Again, make sure you're not falling in, you're shining your chest towards the ceiling. Then we're going to windmill the arms down and kind of walk ourselves over and adjust our feet so we're in a wide-legged forward fold towards the side of the mat. Your toes can be pointed out, pointed in, at a 90-degree angle, whichever you prefer. From here, you can walk your fingertips behind you to get a little bit deeper of a fold. And walk those same fingertips forward. You can come up on those fingertips if you'd like. Flat back, wide-legged flat back, pulling the crown of your head nice and long for your spine. Then exhale, fold again. And walk your hands back so you're in your low lunge again towards the front of your mat. From here, we'll kick that left leg back to meet the right. Press yourself into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, roll forward to plank. Drop your knees, chest and chin on an exhale. Inhale for low cobra. Exhaling, pressing back into downward facing dog. Breathing here in down dog. Adjusting your stance any way you need to. We'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, sweep it forward. Help it if you need to. Place it between your hands. Now we're in a low lunge on the opposite side. Rotate that back heel down again, so you're at a 45-degree angle. Back edge of that back foot is pressing into the mat. Front foot is pressing equally as hard. And we'll windmill the arms up for warrior two on the opposite side. Again, adjust your feet any way you need to make yourself feel nice and sturdy. Front knee is at a 90-degree angle. Arms are reaching in either direction, and your gaze is over the front palm. On your next inhale, flip that palm up in the air, reach forward, and scoot back for reverse warrior. Make sure your knee stays bent. Make sure you're not falling into that back arm. On your next inhale, come back into warrior two arms. We'll give that knee a little rest. Reach forward as much as you can, and then down for triangle pose. Reaching your arms in either direction, nice and wide. Both knees are straight here, or as straight as you can get them. On your next inhale, come back into warrior two, bend that front knee again. We'll bring the forearm towards the thigh, opposite arm over top for side angle pose. On your next exhale, you can windmill your arms down, walk them towards the side of the mat, adjust your feet so that you're in a wide-legged forward fold again. This time, see if you can exhale, relax a little bit more, fold a little bit deeper. Maybe you can visualize that crown of your head reaching towards the ground. On your next inhale, walk your fingers up for a nice wide-legged flat back, pulling the crown of the head towards the side of the room. Exhale, fold forward again. And you can walk your fingers back towards the front of the mat. So you're in your low lunge again towards the front. Kick that front leg back to meet the back. Come into downward facing dog. Breathing here in down dog. On your next inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And then exhale, pressing back into downward facing dog. You can step, or hop towards the front of your mat so you're in a forward fold. Hands on shins, inhaling for a nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. And inhale, roll up to stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the next. Breathing here in mountain pose. Hands can be to the sides at heart center, whichever you prefer. And just let it go, kick it out, release, relax, breathe, get a drink of water. All right, shake it all out. We'll go into balancing poses. Standing in mountain pose, make sure all four corners of your feet are making contact with the mat. You can rock forward and back. You can rock left and right. Just feel the area of the mat on every inch of the bottom of your foot. When you're confident in that, you can take your right foot, pressing it into the mat here. You can kickstand the left heel at the ankle. You can bring the bottom of the foot to the shin, or you can press the heel into the inner thigh, whichever you prefer. I think today I'll go bottom of the foot to shin. Hands can be at your hips, at heart center. Breathe, blowing in the breezes like branches, whichever you prefer. If you need help balancing, you can pull that belly button towards the spine. You can hold your pelvic floor, or you can stare at a point that's not moving in front of you. Don't pick me because I'm moving. And if you fall out of it, just come back in, no big deal. It's called practice. And when you've had enough of that, you can release your arms. Keep your knee bent. Release your foot from your leg. Rotate that knee towards me. Kick your foot out straight in the air. See if you can lift it a little bit higher, maybe a little bit higher, and then let it go. Shake out that standing leg. Maybe give your outer muscle a little rub. And we'll stand on the other foot. Pressing all four corners of that left foot down into the ground. You can kickstand that heel to the ankle, bottom of the foot to the calf, or pressing that heel into the inner thigh. Remembering that one side of your body may be more balanced than the other side. You can place your hands at heart center on your hips, or they can be branches blowing in the breeze. And if you fall out, just come back in, no big deal. You can release your hands. You can release your foot from your leg. Rotate that knee towards me. Kick your leg out straight in front of you. Lift your heel a little bit higher, and then let it go. Kick out your standing leg. Give your leg a little rub. And we'll come into eagle wrap. Same motion as before with hugging ourselves, except we'll make it a little bit more complicated. Open your arms out to a T, nice big inhale. You can bring those hands back behind your back if you'd like. Then exhale, we'll cross, we'll bring that right arm under the left, crossing at the elbows, then the forearms, then the palms. Backs of the hands or the palms together, whichever you can muster, whatever's most comfortable for you. From here, see if you can exhale, melt those shoulders down the back. Inhale, pull the elbows towards me. See if your fingertips are still reaching up into the air. Make sure you're not poking yourself in the forehead with your thumb. Breathing here, opening up your back body. Opening up those shoulders. If you're happy here, stay. If not, you can take your right leg over your left. You can cross at the thigh or the shin, whichever you prefer. If you cross at the thigh, you can even try to hook those toes behind the shin. Balancing on that standing leg. Holding yourself in eagle. Pulling that belly button towards the spine here. When you're ready, you can release your legs, release your arms, give yourself a little shake out, maybe a little kick. And we'll do the other side. Opening big, nice and wide with your arms. Exhale, cross at the elbows, opposite arm on top this time. Crossing at the forearms, then the palms. Backs of the hands or palms together, whichever you prefer. Breathing here, pull those elbows towards me. Exhale the shoulders down the back. See if you can breathe into that space between your shoulder blades, opening up the back of your lungs. If you'd like to add the crossing of the legs, bring that left leg over the right, crossing at the thighs or the shins, whichever you prefer. Balancing on that standing leg. Breathing into those shoulder blades. You can release your legs, release your arms, give yourself a little shake out. Get a drink of water if you want. While I check the time. All right, coming back into mountain at the front of your mat, pressing into both feet equally. Inhale those arms into the air. Again, exhaling the shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, reach with your fingertips into the sky. And then exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, hands on your shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands. We'll send that right leg back behind us. Left leg can meet it. We'll come into a downward facing dog. Breathing here in down dog. Option for one last chaturanga. On your next inhale, you can roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin for an inhale into a low cobra. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Breathing here. We'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that heel towards the bum. Inhale, open up the hips, lift that knee into the air. And then exhale, swing that leg forward, shin parallel to the front of the mat. And we'll come into pigeon. Back leg should be straight back behind you. You can come up onto your fingertips if you'd like. Make sure your front foot is flexed. Any support you need, maybe under your hips, place a block or a blanket under there. And then exhale, roll forward. Placing your forehead on the mat or a block or your hands, whichever you prefer. On your next inhale, you can start to walk yourself back up. Place your hands on the mat, and we'll just come into a tabletop. Tucking those back toes under, press yourself back into downward facing dog again. We'll lift the left leg in the air this time, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that heel towards the bum. Inhale, open your hips. And then exhale, swing that shin forward so it's parallel to the front of the mat. Reach that back leg behind you nice and straight. You can lift yourself up, give yourself any support you need. Make sure your front foot is flexed. And then you can walk yourself down. Bring that forehead to the mat, maybe a block or your hands. And just breathe here. On your next inhale, you can begin to walk yourself back up. Place your hands on the mat and come back into a tabletop pose. Tuck those back toes under. Press yourself into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to plank, and exhale, just lower down in one big roll. From here, go ahead and roll onto your backs. Place your feet flat on the mat, knees bent. Your feet can be about as wide as the mat. And just windshield wiper your knees back and forth. Release any tension in those outer hips a pigeon may have caused. And go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. You can rock back and forth. You can roll forward and back. You can rotate just your knees around in circles. Give yourself a low back massage. And we'll place the feet back to the mat, down to the mat, just far enough away so you can just graze your heels with your fingertips. Pressing those feet into the mat, we'll come into bridge pose. When you're ready, you can inhale your chest and hips into the air, pressing into the bottoms of the feet. From here, if you'd like, you can always wiggle your shoulders underneath you, interlace your hands back behind you, and just breathe here in bridge pose. You can release your hands, release your arms, lower your spine back to the mat. Windshield wiper your legs back and forth a couple more times. Your feet flat on the mat, we'll take the left ankle to the right knee, lift the right leg into the air so that your shin is parallel to the mat and your knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. We'll loop our arms through and grab the back of the right thigh. If you're happy here, you can stay. If not, you can always press this left leg away with your left elbow. Keeping both feet flexed here. It's a figure 4 stretch. If you're not feeling anything, you can always kind of rotate back and forth, gently rocking until you find a spot that's maybe a little more stuck, a little more sore. You can breathe into that spot. You can come back to center, release your hands from your legs. Go ahead and switch legs, placing that right ankle onto the left knee, lifting that left leg in the air, lacing your arms to the back of the thigh. You can press that opposite knee away from you. Both feet are flexed. And again, if you're not feeling anything here, you can gently rock to one side or the other, maybe pull your thigh a little bit closer. You can generally find a spot that needs a stretch. You can release your hands from your leg, release your legs back down to the mat. Windshield wiper out the legs again. You can hug your knees to your chest. And just extend your legs into the air. Just a nice, simple inversion. Check in with your low belly. See if you can pull that belly button towards the spine. You can place your hands on the back of your thighs if you want to pull those legs a little bit closer. If you'd like to go into full supported shoulder stand, you could always come up into the air. Hug those knees into your chest again. And this time we'll drop to one side for the twist. Like whichever side you'd like. Drop your knees to one side. Make sure one hip and both shoulders are still on the mat. Your arms can be out to the side. They can be holding your legs. It can be in cartoon cactuses, whatever you prefer. Your gaze can be at the ceiling, or for a little deeper stretch, you can always gaze over the opposite shoulder that your knees are facing. See if you can make that twist come from your midsection. On your next inhale, you can bring your knees back to the center. Give yourself a little rock back and forth. And then exhale your knees to the other side. Again, arms can be out to the side in cartoon cactuses, holding your knees down, but both shoulders and one hip should remain on the mat. See if you can make that twist come from your midsection. Hips are perpendicular to the mat. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to center. Hug those knees into your chest. Give yourself a little back massage. From here, if you'd like to come into happy baby, you can reach for the interior of your feet, grabbing the soles of the feet and gently rocking, hi paper, gently rocking back and forth. pulling those knees into your elbows. And you can release your hands from your feet. You can release your legs down. You can get yourself set up as comfortable as possible for Shavasana. Let all your hard work melt into your muscles. And just let everything fade away. You can begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. You can introduce small movements in your fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can roll onto one side using your arm as a pillow. And take one breath in the fetal position. Using that same slow quality of movement, and come up to a comfortable seat. Your hands to heart center. We'll close with one Om. I don't know if you can hear the sirens outside. Inhale for Om. Aum. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Namaste.